Every yagya that is conducted, every japa mala that is recited, every bhajan that is sung, every time we sit in meditation, every time we do seva or service, any form of spirituality we practice, ultimately we want to achieve one thing, and that is self-unfoldment or spiritual upliftment. There are thousands of temples in our country. There are thousands of temples in the world. There are thousands of churches being constructed in our country and the world, and so too are the mosques. Everybody, the Hindus, the Muslims, the Christians, the Jehovah's Witnesses, the Sai devotees, the whatever devotee you call yourself, everyone is seeking self-unfoldment and spiritual upliftment, isn't it? Every one of us, we are going to God for that purpose. We are going to God to achieve that at the end of our spiritual practice. So when you sit down with your japa mala and you are chanting, for example, your 108 beads or jap, especially in this month of Shravan, this is called the Shravan Mass. We are now in the Shukra Paksha, the bright fortnight. So many devotees are fasting and doing devotion, not only on Mondays, but every day of the Shravan Mass, every day of this holy month of Shravan. So you are doing your jap and you are chanting not one mala, two mala or three malas, but you are chanting thousands of times to receive the blessings of Mahadev, Bhagwan Shiva. Again, for self-unfoldment and spiritual upliftment. There is nothing else we want. That is the ultimate goal. But the basic principle we have to understand in terms of spirituality, my friends, and the basic principle or principles that we must understand according to Vedanta is we must practice the basic steps. We must practice the basic steps. And we start like baby steps. It is said there are simple things to practice. One is called Shama, the other one is called Dhamma, the third one is called as Titiksha, the fourth one is called as Uparati, etc. According to Vedanta, Shama means controlling the mind in simple situations. Friends, a person who is able to control his or her mind to some degree, that person is spiritually inclined. Regardless of religion, regardless of race or whatever, it doesn't matter. If we are able to control our mind to some degree, we are able to control our emotions, then we are spiritually inclined. The second thing is Dhamma. Dhamma means what you call as controlling the senses. We have 5 organs of perception and 5 organs of action. If we are able to control these 5 organs of perception, the eyes, ears, nose, tongue, skin, etc., and the hands, legs, the mouth, the procreation, the excretion organ, etc., if we are able to control these 10 organs, then we are practicing what is called as Dhamma. Dhamma meaning controlling of the senses. A person who can do that, that person is spiritual. I'm going to repeat that. The person who is able to control the mind to some degree, and the person who is able to control the senses to some degree, especially when temptation is very strong, that person is a spiritual person. Not the person who light the diya, not the person who go on the pilgrimage, not the person who go to the temple, not the person who go to the church, the mosque, etc. alone, but the person who is able to control the mind to some degree or to a great degree or extent, and the person who is able to control his or her senses, that person is truly a spiritual person. My friends, that's Shama and Dhamma. The third thing is called as Uparama. Uparama in spirituality, or according to Vedanta, means that we must always perform our duty in life or duties in life. In order to perform our duty, we must understand who we are. For example, if I am a son, then I have a duty towards my parents. So if I perform my duty towards my parents, that is practicing uparama. If I am a husband, and I am, then I must also fulfill my duty towards my wife. If I fulfill that duty towards my wife, then I am practicing spirituality in the form of uparama, meaning I am performing my duty towards her in terms of everything that a husband must fulfill in terms of the marriage. My aspect of duties towards the wife, that is called uparama. If I am a teacher, when I stand in front of my class, then my duty is to teach. When I practice uparama, my friends, in teaching, for example, in front of my class, that is spirituality at the level of my duty or duties in life. My dear brothers and sisters, spirituality is not necessarily when you come to the mandir or go to some spiritual institution or going to some place of pilgrimage. It is in our daily life, and this is why our religion is called as Sanatan Dharma. It is not a religion. It is called the eternal way of life. And if it is an eternal way of life, then it must be practiced on a daily basis in all the different aspects of our duties in terms of our responsibilities in life. For example, if I go to the office and the boss is not there and I decide to sit down and, as we say in local language, or maybe the local Hindi twang, we lahi. You all know what is lahi? You all know it's lahi? Lahi means when the boss not there. On the phone. And when the boss come. So perform your duty. And you know, unfortunately, the person who is lahin, so that's called English, right? English, half Hindi and half English. The person who is lahiing is thinking that he or she is outsmarting the boss. But in reality, the law of karma is such in our dharma that if you lahi today, you might get pay from the boss, but somewhere down the road, it will go. It will be lost. We have to be paid. We will be paid rather for what we have worked for. So uparama, my dear friends, is another basic step. It's a baby step in terms of spirituality. And we are all still taking baby steps in spirituality, isn't it? Friends, you and I might be adults. But in terms of spirituality, we are still in kindergarten. We have graduated academically from preschool to kindergarten. Which one first? Preschool first, kindergarten, then first year, second year, first to fifth standard. Then we graduated from there and we went to secondary school. And from there to Cape level. And from Cape level we graduated to university or tertiary level. And then from tertiary level we keep on studying even up to the masters, etc. But in terms of spirituality, friends, are we still in kindergarten? In terms of spirituality, are we still in preschool or are we still preschoolers? That's a question we have to ask ourselves and find out when we are going to graduate to the other level. So uparama means that we practice what you call our duty in life. Friends, Sri Ram in the Ramayana stands up for the principle of duty. He is called Dharmatma. And a Dharmatma is one who lives up to the principles of his or her duties in life. And then the fourth step, so Shama, controlling the mind, Dhamma, controlling the senses, Uparama, performing your duties in life. Then you have Titiksha. They're very important. Now we are using these terms and we will be taking these terms into our katha from the Ram's katha tonight. Titiksha means what? Titiksha means the ability to endure. Let me just give an example. Endurance means if you have to do something in the sun, and we all know the sun is like really hot these days, extreme heat. This morning around 10 o'clock I saw my car was saying 33 degrees. So let us say you have to do something in the sun, and you have to do it. You do what you have to do in the sun without complaining. The ability to endure the heat of the sun without complaining, that is called as titiksha. Titiksha means endurance. And friends, not only based on the example I gave, but in every aspect of our lives, titiksha will come in handy if we develop the art of endurance. It's a spiritual thing. A spiritual person will practice titiksha, and you will never hear a spiritual person complaining. And you know, when you go to India and places where people do tapasya and stuff, you know, once we were going from Gangotri to Gomukh. Now that area is closed off. The public is not allowed to go up to Gomukh anymore, where the Ganga starts. But it's about an 18-kilometer trekking up the mountains to where Gomukh is, where Ganga Devi comes out, the mouth of the Ganga Devi, out of the mountain. And we went up there, and the place was extremely cold. And while walking up, you see many Mahatmas and saints and yogis, etc., sitting in small little caves, Bhaiya Krish, small little caves in the mountain. And even though it's extreme cold, they're just sitting there with nothing on except a langoti. A langoti means a small piece of cloth around their loins, around their waist. That's all. And they are not complaining. And we, me especially, had on all my clothes, sweater, jacket, all kind of thing, and complaining. No titiksha. Titiksha means the ability to endure. And sometimes, friends, even in terms of our everyday life and living, in our homes, in our communities, in our relationship with others, sometimes we have to practice titiksha and endure a little bit. Don't always complain. Sometimes we just have to endure and treat everything alike or balance. So basically, these are some of the baby steps that we take into spirituality. In our spiritual upliftment or spiritual growth. And friends, when we practice this in our everyday lives, then what happens is we become stronger, that is, spiritually. We become more calm spiritually. We become more uplifted spiritually. We become more pure spiritually. And when we go to the Ramcharitamanas, my friends, it is one of the most common and it is one of the most popular texts in our culture here in the Caribbean, in Trinidad and Tobago especially, Guyana, etc. Ramayana, very popular. I am sure every one of you know the Ramayana almost by heart. Isn't it? We are blessed to have Dr. Suraj with us this evening. When it comes to the Ramayana, he's a reservoir of knowledge. When he interprets the Ramayana, it's very beautiful. You can listen to him all the time. My friends, the Ramayana happens to be very, very common among us. It's a very popular text. I could tell you the Ramayana in 5 minutes by 100. 5 minutes, maybe less. There was a king. His name was Dashrath. He got married to a queen. Her name was Kaushalya Devi. She didn't have any children, so he got married to Sumitra Devi. She didn't have any children, so he got married to Sumitra Devi. She didn't have any children. He decided to perform a Putreshti Kama Yagna, where he would be blessed with children. He got children. He got 4 sons. They were called Ram, Lakshman, Bharat, and Shatrugna. The children were growing up very wonderful in the Ayodhya, in the city called Ayodhya. And everything was going well until one day, Mother Kaikeyi was corrupted by evil companion of Manthara. Manthara corrupted the mind of Mother Kaikeyi and told her that Ram is going to become king. Don't let Ram become king. Let your son become king. And when your son become king, you will be the Rajmata, you will be the mother of Ayodhya, and Kaushalya will be under you. See, upper and under, right? She will be under you. If Ram becomes king, you will be under her, and therefore don't allow that. Kaikeyi Mantra is saying, send Ram to the forest for 14 years and let your son become king. Bharat will become king. And Kaikeyi Mata agreed. She sent Ram to the forest. Bharat came, and Bharat was very upset. He didn't want to become king. And my friends, Sri Ram went to the forest with his companion Sita Devi and Lakshman. Having gone to the forest, they lived 13 wonderful years, enjoying Nitya, enjoying the company of the saints and sages. And coming to the last year, between the 13th and 14th year, Ravana came after Sri Ram had took off, Lakshman had taken off the nose of his sister Suparnika. And when that happened, she went and complained to Ravan. Ravan took revenge by coming kidnapping Sita Devi. He took her to Lanka. Sri Ramchandraji bridged the ocean. He went into Lanka. He killed Ravan. He took back Sita. He come back Ayodhya. Ramayana done. Is it Ramayana? Isn't it? But that is only, I don't want to say the storyline, but the Katha line of the Ramcharitamanas. Remember, friends, the characters of the Ramayana, they are not just ordinary characters. It is the Lord of the universe who had incarnated upon this earth to act on the stage of this Ramcharitamanas or the Ramayana. And so, Ramcharitamanas Goswami Tulsidashi, it is the Lord himself who had incarnated with his Shakti, Sita Mata, his brothers Lakshman, and of course Bharat and Shatrughna. They were Amsha, they were a partial manifestation of that supreme Paramatma who incarnated to perform the Leela. For what purpose? For people who were not performing their uparati, people who were not performing their duties in life, and people who were breaking the law of karma, and people who were breaking the law in terms of their duties. The Lord came to straighten that. Friends, the characters in the Ramayana are not ordinary individuals, and this is why it is said, Sita ke Ram, Radha ke Shyam, Meera ke Giridhar Nagar, Sur ke Ghanshyam. Sita ke Ram, Radha ke Shyam, Meera ke Giridhar Nagar, Sur ke Ghanshyam. Sita ke Ram, Radha ke Shyam. महलों का सुख चोर सिया ने राम का साथ निभाया, लक्ष्मी ने घर रूप सिया का जग का पाप मिटाया। महलों का सुख चोर सिया ने राम का साथ निभाया, लक्ष्मी ने घर रूप सिया का जग का पाप मिटाया। बना दिया इस धरती को धर्म भक्त का धाम। सीता के राम, राधा के श्याम, मीरा के गिरधर नागर, सूर के घनश्याम। सीता के राम, राधा के श्याम। श्याम सुंदर संग ऐसा रास रचाया, तीन लोक में श्याम और राधा का रूप समाया। राधा ने श्री श्याम सुंदर संग ऐसा रास रचाया, तीन लोक में श्याम और राधा का रूप समाया। कोटि कोटि में भक्तों पर राम भक्त का नाम। सीता के राम, राधा के श्याम, मीरा के गिरधर नागर, सूर के घनश्याम। सीता के राम, राधा के श्याम। की झूठी महिमा को तू कराया, तोर जगत का बंधन अपने गिरधर को अपनाया। मीरा ने महलों की झूठी महिमा को तू कराया, तोर जगत में बंधन अपने गिरधर को अपनाया। प्रेम दीवानी मीरा को करता है भक्त प्रणाम, सीता के राम राधा के श्याम, मीरा के गिरधर नागर सूर के घनश्याम, सीता के राम राधा के श्याम। सबसे न्यारे स्वामी, सबसे न्यारे सबके प्यारे स्वामी अंतर्यामी। सीता राधा और मीरा के सबसे न्यारे स्वामी, सबसे न्यारे सबके प्यारे स्वामी अंतर्यामी। सदा बनाया करते प्रभु जी सबके बिगड़े काम, सीता के राम राधा के श्याम, मीरा के गिरधर नागर सूर के घनश्याम, सीता के राम राधा के श्याम, मीरा के गिरधर नागर सूर के घनश्याम, सीता के राम राधा के श्याम। These, my friends, characters that are mentioned in the Ramcharitamrita are not ordinary characters. They are, my friends, divine personalities. The Lord decided to perform his activities. The Lord decided to perform his leela. The Lord wanted to get rid of adharma. The Lord wanted to reestablish righteousness. Therefore, he came down and did it himself. And what I want everyone to leave here tonight with, and to remember, my friends, apart from Shama, Dhamma, Uparama, and Titiksha, I want you to remember, my friends, the son that Maharaj Dashrath was clamoring to have, the son that Dashrath Maharaj performed the Putreshtikam Yagna to have, was a son like the Lord himself. And the Lord said, I could not find a son like myself, therefore I will come myself. I will come myself to you and become your son. And that is why, my dear brothers and sisters, Ram, Bhagwan Sri Ramchandra Ji, Ra in Ram represents light. Ra in Ram represents light. Tell me which one of us in this country and the world does not need light? Who doesn't need light? Which Hindu doesn't need light? Which Christian doesn't need light? Which Muslim don't need light? Which people of any race doesn't need light? Everybody needs light. But the thing is, where is this light that we need? Friends, ma, ra plus ma, ra plus a plus ma, putting it together, we get Ram. That Sri Ram represents the light in ma, ma meaning in me. So if Sri Ram represents the light in me, when that light shines within me, it will dispel the darkness from within. And friends, the greatest darkness that humankind is affected by today is not external darkness, but internal darkness. This is the downfall of us as human beings. This is the downfall of us as individuals. You see, when we become what you call influenced by temptation, when we become influenced by lust and anger and greed and the shatvikar, kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, matsarya, if that light is not bright inside of us, we become the victim of these things, my friends. And so we become overpowered by ignorance. And as a result of that, our lives are in chaos. Now, I'm not saying us, but there are many people's lives are in chaos because of that internal darkness. Today, friends, you look in society, we see there is so much of light outside, but inside where there is no compassion, no light of compassion, there is no light of feeling for anyone. Somebody can point a gun at somebody else and shoot them in cold blood and no feelings. That is the level of darkness we are experiencing in society today. A man can abuse his wife, or a man can abuse his daughter. A person can abuse a child of the community. A person can abuse someone and have no remorse, no ill feeling. That level of darkness, my friends, we have reached. We have reached that level of darkness. And so, where a person don't even feel guilty anymore, a person don't feel bad anymore, I can hurt you and just walk out and move on with my life. That level of darkness, my dear brothers and sisters, we are seeing where we have reached now as individuals, where we do not even respect the light within us. Call that light Ram, call that light Jesus, call that light Allah, call that light, please call that light by some divine name that you respect and you love. That you will not ignore that light, my friends. Please have some faith in your light. Please have some faith in your God. And I know that we are reaching far and wide tonight because of the media. Today, we, my friends, have so many youngsters and youths in our communities who do not even acknowledge the fact that there is a light within them. That light we call Sri Ram in Hinduism. That is what Sri Ram represents. We have reached to a level of darkness. That darkness is called, friends, as Agyan. Can anyone do an experiment in a dark room and look at this light. Look at how small this little light is. You all seen that little light? You're not seeing it with lighting, you know. It's lighting, it's blinking. I think it will fall. See? Look at this little light. But if you take off all the bigger lights in here, this little one will shine. You will see a glow. But when, all the lights are on, you're hardly seeing the glow. So the glow is there. I don't know if I broke. Oh, no. We'll do some experiment here. I broke it. My friends, when we take off the big light, all the bulbs, the little one will glow. The little light will glow. Friends, all of us have a little light inside of us. But you see, be attentive. You see, my friends, when the darkness is so strong, the little light will out, it will keep on glowing. And what we have to do is to fuel that light. We have to fuel that lamp a little more. Raise the wick. When your diya is not lighting properly, you raise the wick. If the wind is too strong, you intensify. You raise the wick. If the havan is not burning properly, you intensify. You put some more camphor. You put some more sticks, and the fire will blaze. How come? When it comes to our spirituality, friends, when our spirituality is dwindling, and we are going down and down in terms of our spirituality, how come we don't intensify? And check on ourselves and immediately take into control our little light. Brothers and sisters, that Ram inside of us is the light that needs to be glowing in a positive way. And what does Sri Ram represents? Friends, he represents the light within me. Sri Ram represents that light, the light of dharma, the light of love, the light of compassion, the light of creativity, the light of divinity, the light of awareness, the light of peace, the light of shanti. All that is what Sri Ram represents. And today so many people say, I don't have peace. So many people say, nobody have compassion. Compassion is lacking. Friends, when darkness is overpowering us, the light will, it comes like the little diya is lighting, the wick is there, and the breeze is blowing strong. The light will do all kind of thing, try to survive. It will rotate in all different directions. The flame will be struggling to survive. And that is what's happening to us right now. Our flame, our love, our divinity, our peace, our Sri Ram inside of us is struggling to survive and to go through the darkness that we have found ourselves in as a society. In some cases, families. In some cases, communities, our nation. By extension, the world. So Sri Ram in the Ramayana represents this light. Who gave birth to Sri Ram? Who did the Putreshti Kam Yagya? Who did the Putreshti Kam Yagya? Maharaj? Can you all say Maharaj Dashrath? Maharaj Dashrath. Correct pronunciation. Dashrath. Break it up now. Dasha means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. How many? 10. Dasa means 10. Ratha means chariot. The person with 10 chariots gave birth. The person with 10 chariots performed the Putreshti Kam Yagya to give birth to Sri Ram. Who is the person with 10 chariots? Do you have 10 chariots, Didi? You don't have 10 chariots? Do you have 10 chariots? Mama, you have 10 chariots? You have 10 chariots? You don't have any? You have no chariot? You have a car? You have a car or Zabuka? 100G. Do you have 10 chariot? Or 100? How many chariot do you have? Be attentive now. Do you have eyes, ears, nose, tongue, skin, hands, legs, mouth, procreation, excretion organ? We have 10 chariots. We all have 10 chariots. These 10 senses, my friends, that we spoke about through Shama and Dhamma, controlling of the mind and controlling of the senses. Friends, a person who is able to control this mind and control the senses, that person becomes Dasharath. And the person who becomes Dasharath, that person can give birth to Sri Ram. That person can light the light from within. That person, my friends, can bring God from heaven onto the earth, into his or her life. But we have to have these 10 chariots under control. Suryanarayan Swami chariot rose in the eastern direction and went down in the western direction. It didn't stop yet, but according to astronomy, it is rising some other parts of the world again. The chariot of the sun has 7 horses. The 5 senses plus the mind and intellect are the 7 horses of the chariot of the sun. The sun itself represents the intellect, and Arun, the driver of the chariot, represents the mind. So the chariot is always depicted in Hinduism. My friends, Bhagwan Krishna is sitting on the chariot with Arjuna on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. This chariot has 5 horses. The 5 horses represents the 5 senses. Bhagwan Krishna represents the intellect, and Arjuna represents the mind. So the chariot is on the battlefield. Bhagwan Krishna's chariot together with Arjuna is the closest chariot to us, because we are also in a battlefield in this world. Every day is a battle. Brothers and sisters, Dashrath Maharaj represents the one with the control senses. He, together with Kaushalya Devi, my friends, represents the 2 individuals who can give birth to Sri Ram. So Dashrath means the one who is able to control the senses, and Kaushalya Devi means the one who has the skills. With control and skills, that individual will be able to bring God on this earth, friends. This is the Sri Ram that is mentioned in this Ram Charitamanas that we are studying and we are talking about. Kaushalya Devi means the skillful rider Of the 10 chariots who can bring forth God on this earth, Sri Ram Chandraji, who can light the light within the heart. This is what Sri Ram represents, my dear brothers and sisters. Bhagwan Sri Ram, he didn't take avatar in New Delhi. He didn't take avatar in Trinidad. He didn't take avatar in America or Canada. He took avatar in Ayodhya. Friends, have you all ever been to Ayodhya? Anybody have been to Ayodhya? Went to Ayodhya? Where is Ayodhya, Neil? Neil Ramrat, expert in Ramayana, you know. You know where is Ayodhya? Ayodhya, where there is no fight and no quarrel, there is Ayodhya. Where there is no fight and no quarrel, there is Ayodhya. This is very important now. Where there is no fight and no quarrel, there is Ayodhya. And where there is Ayodhya, Sri Ram will take avatar. Question. Let's be practical now. In your home, are there any fight and quarrel? No. In your workplace, are there any fight and quarrel? Oh God, Baba, do talk. Sometimes. Communities, are there fight and quarrel? Imagine that. When there is fight and quarrel, how will the Lord take avatar? How will the Lord manifest himself, friends? Ayodhya means the mind that does not have any conflict. The mind, my friends, where the sun of knowledge is shining. And when the sun of knowledge shines, there the Lord will take avatar. Brothers and sisters and devotees of the Lord, Sri Ram took avatar in Ayodhya. Everything was wonderful. It was the most peaceful time in the life of Maharaj Dashrath. It was the most happiest time of his life. But when Kaikeyi Mata came into contact with mantra, my friends, the light started to dim. The light started to get dull. When Mother Kaikeyi came into contact with mantra, the light started to as if go out. Remember, it will not out, it will go dim. But in Ayodhya, it was the beginning of tragedy for the people of Ayodhya. The day when Kaikeyi Mata came into contact with mantra, we all know what happened. My friends, Bharat was away at his grandparents' home, maternal grandparents. And Tulsidashi tells us, when Bharat heard some news about his father, he returned to Ayodhya. He went to his mother and very anxious, Bharat, tears streaming down his eyes, he looks at his mother and he asks, Ma, Shri Ram Jaya Rama, Jaya Jaya Rama. Everyone, Shri Ram Jaya Rama,
जय जय रामा।
सकल कुशल कही भरत सुनाई, पूछी निज कुल कुशल बनाई। बोलो श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम। सब लोग आइए बोल दिखाकर श्री राम जय राम
जय जय रामा।
कहूँ कहतात कहाँ सब माता, कहूँ कहतात कहाँ सब माता, कहाँ सिया राम लखन प्रिय भ्राता। बोलो श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम। बोलिए श्री राम जय राम
जय जय रामा।
श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम। श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम। श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम।
श्री राम जय रामा जय जय रामा।
भरत जी ने सारा कुशल समाचार कह सुनाया। फिर उन्होंने अपने को की कुशल बुलाई पूछी। उन्होंने कहा कहो पिताजी कहाँ है, कहो ना पिताजी कहाँ है, सब माताएं कहाँ हैं, सीता जी और मेरे प्यारे भाई राम लक्ष्मण कहाँ है माँ, कहाँ है माँ? प्लीज, oh mother, please tell me. Bharat, my friends, who had gone to spend some time at his Nana and Nani place, he was having a wonderful time, and suddenly news came, and the news was that you must return to Ayodhya very quickly. Bharat, you must return to Ayodhya very quickly. Something has happened. And when Bharat returned, my friends, his mother was happy. His mother was Kaikeyi Devi. She was excited. She was happy to welcome her son because, you know, she did what she did for her son's sake. She did what she did for her son's sake. And what she did was, she sent Sri Ram to the forest to spend 14 years that her son Bharat will become the king. Any normal son, inverted commas normal, whose mother would do something like that for them will feel happy, isn't it? Son of a modern world today, if your mother kick out the big brother and make you and put your name on the deed, hey, Ma, I love you. Kick out the big brother and put your name on the deed, and you younger, and Ma bringing pension every month and giving you. Ma, I really love you, girl. Isn't it? So Mother Kaikeyi did that. She kicked out Sri Ram name from the deed and she put in Bharat name. So when Bharat came in, Bharat said, Ma, what happened? Mere pitaji kahan hai? Where is my father? Or Kaushalya Mata ji kahan hai? Where is my Kaushalya Ma? Sumitra Mata kahan hai? But when he reached, my friends, to where he have to ask now for Sri Ram, Lakshman and Sita Ma, his eyes filled. Kahan siya mere Ram? लक्ष्मण और सीता है माँ? माँ बताइए ना, प्लीज tell me, O mother, सीता जी और मेरे प्यारे भाई, my beloved brothers, where are they? And when Bharat asked, with his eyes filled, the mother now realized something was wrong. She is now thinking, but why are you tearing up? Why are you tearing up, Bharat? Don't you know the plan went well? What I planned, it went out well, Bharat. You are now the king of Ayodhya. Friends, when Mother Kaikeyi was speaking to Bharat like this, Bharat in his mind is asking himself the question, meaning mentally he's asking himself the question, what has happened to my mother? What has happened to her? You know, sometimes, friends, mothers, they encourage their children to do wrong thing. Inverted commas, some mothers. They encourage their children to do wrong things. And sometimes the mothers even do wrong things on behalf of the children. Sometimes fathers does the same. Encourage a child to do wrong thing or do wrong things on behalf of the child. But if the child is a right thinking individual, the child will know the difference between right and wrong. And sometimes we see youths going astray in the communities today, and we blame parents. But it's not always parents, because sometimes our youths, in fact, youths have a mind of their own, and they know the difference between right and wrong. They have to make choices. We all have to make choices. Friends, do we make a choice in our interest to be to take advantage of someone else? And pretend that we do not know that we are taking advantage of someone else? Or we justify our wrongdoings because we are benefiting? Bharat, friends, was different. Bharat looked at his mother and he said, Ma, please tell me, where is father? Pitaji kahan hai? Now he is only waiting for the mother to say what happened to the father. Father already died, you know. Father already died. He was waiting for his mother to say, where is my Ram? Where is my Sita, my sister Sita? Where are my beloved brothers Lakshman and Sri Ram? Mataji, bataiye na, please tell. And Mother Kaikeyi, she now realizing that her son is not really happy, he is upset. Are there any mothers who would see that their child or children doing wrong things and encourage them? Or justify the wrongdoings of your child or your children? Maybe not in this audience. Maybe not in the audience at home listening on Sankhya. But maybe an audience who needs this knowledge but are not listening at all. And if any one of us might be encouraging, maybe not a child, but maybe a brother, maybe a sister, maybe a friend, maybe someone we're supposed to care about, encourage them to do wrong things, we, my friends, are setting the pace for self-destruction. Self-destruction. That is the beginning of self-destruction. Kaikeyi Mata stood there. She is looking at Bharat. She is wondering, is he happy or is he crazy? Or is he sad? I sent Ram to the forest that he become king. Son, everything well according to my plan. And you see, friends, Kaikeyi Mata, when she heard, just to go back a little bit, when she heard that Sri Ram was going to become king, the next day, Dasharath Maharaj is going to coronate him as king, she was excited. She was happy. Immediately she called the person to do manicure, pedicure, hairdressing, new outfit, bangles. Everybody came in. Kaikeyi Mata was doing her hair because tomorrow her son is going to become king. Tomorrow the son is going to become what you call Yuvaraja. She was preparing herself. She was happy. She was excited until Mantra walked in. And friends, you all know who is Mantra? Not mantra, There are difference between mantra and mantara. Didibam? You know who is mantra? Huh? The one who has a crooked body, that person is mantra. Please, don't take it literally. You see the beginning part of that name? Man. You see when a person have a crooked mind? Dangerous to be with, close to. Anytime if you find yourself in the company of a person who has a straight body and a crooked mind, run for your life. It have many people, they stand up straight, body straight, but their mind crooked. And it have many people who body bend, but their mind straight. Mantra was one whose body was bent and mind bent too. Double crooked. Imagine that. Double crooked. And friends, when we find ourselves in the company of a person who is double crooked, you know what? MPG, I'm going to say it in local language. We done. We finish. Because that person who is crooked will poison us. And Tulsidashi will tell us afterwards here. He said, Kaikai is like a person. She cuts a wound on the body. And you know what she does? She doesn't put a plaster, you know. She put poison in the wound. Tulsidashi describes it like that. He says she creates a wound on the body and then she put poison in it. What kind of person does that? Friends, some people in society in this dark age of Kali Yuga that we are living in, they will wound us mentally and then put poison through the airs. They will put poisonous words inside the airs. And when the poison enters the wound, we know, my friends, that is the beginning of the end. That is the beginning of the end. Brothers and sisters, Bharat was looking at his mother like this. Ma, this is what you allow mantra to do? Now later on, I'm just jumping the gun a little bit, you know. I'm excited to tell you all what Shatrugna did with mantra, you know. Shatrugna, when he saw mantra, you know, like when a person is a black belt, trained karate expert, Shatrugna asked no question. One karate kick, and mantra was skating flat on the ground. The humbug gets straight. Because that was the poison. She was the poison. She became the poison. Young children tonight, our youths and our youngsters of this community and the community of Trinidad and Tobago, be careful of the ones you keep company and who may poison you in some way or the other. They might poison you in a spiritual way. They might poison you in a moral way. They might poison you in a psychological way. Be careful of the poison. So, Didi, you got this here again, a very auspicious time. And it is said, when we observe auspicious occasions like these and what you call fasting and devotion, we try to purge ourselves of the poison. That's why we go to Lord Shiva. He Tripurari, he Gangadhari, bole Shankar, Bhasmarama, Bhakta Saha, he Kailash ki Basi, दिखा दो जब ये विनाशी हे तेरे भक्त विनाशी किया दर्शन की प्यासी, हे त्रिपुरारी, हे गंगाधारी। नित्य प्रति जो बोले बाबा को जाते, नित्य प्रति जो बोले बाबा को ध्याते, मंदिर में उनको ध्यान लगाते, पुष्प चढ़ा के भजन है गाते तेरे शंकर, पुष्प चढ़ा के, पुष्प चढ़ा के भजन है गाते तेरे शंकर। सुन लो पुकार कर आधार है कैलाश निवासी, दिखा दो छवि अविनाशी, हे तेरे भक्त अविनाशी, किया दर्शन की प्यासी, हे त्रिपुरारी, हे गंगाधारी। Bhagwan Shiva is the one to consume this poison that enters our ears, that enters our nostrils, that enters our tongue, that enters our skin. My friends, when the mind is poisoned, then the Ayodhya falls apart, the heart falls apart, life falls apart. Children and youngsters and youths, be careful of the mantra, the one who put poison into your life, to drive God away from you, to drive Sri Ram away from you, to out the light within you. Be careful of such company. संकट में जब भक्त पुकारे, पावन तेरा नाम उचारे, संकट में जब भक्त पुकारे, पावन तेरा नाम उचारे, संकट हरते हे सबके नीलेश्वर, संकट हरते, ओ संकट हरते हे सबके नीलेश्वर, कर कल्याण रूप महान, दिखा दो अवरदानी, दिखा दो छवि अविनाशी, हे तेरे भक्त अविनाशी, किया दर्शन की प्यासी, हे त्रिपुरारी, हे गंगाधारी। हंसे भक्ति तेरे चरणों में अर्पण, हंसे भक्ति तेरे चरणों में अर्पण, ध्यान से तेरे रहे डूबा मेरा मन, हे शिव शंकर मुझको जो निर्मल भक्ति कावल, हे शिव शंकर, हे शिव शंकर मुझको जो निर्मल भक्ति कावल, सांझ सवेरे दर्शन के तेरे, हे तेरे भक्त विलासी, दिखा दो छवि अविनाशी, हे तेरे भक्त अविनाशी, अखियां दर्शन की प्यासी, हे त्रिपुरारी, हे गंगाधारी। To get the poison out of us, we need to get the ignorance out of us, we need this light to shine again, we need Sri Ram to come back to Ayodhya, we need the Lord of light to come back into our hearts. Brothers and sisters, many things happen and he is exiled. Bharat is hurt, his mother was the cause, he is hurt because his mother is the cause, but you know what, he is thinking that he is the one to blame. Now he starts feeling guilty. Now he starts feeling hurt. He is thinking that he is now someone that is not nice and not good. He is, branding himself as a no good person. हे त्रिपुरारी हे गंगाधारी बोले शंकर भस्म रामा भक्त सहाय कैलाश निवासी. Bharat, my friends, is thinking that he is the cause of all this. But I want to go back to the point where he is asking for his Ram, for his Sita, and for his beloved brother Lakshman. You know why he is seeking Sri Ram, Lakshman, and Sita? Bharat represents the ordinary person like you and I. Sri Ram, my friends, is not only the light, but the Jivan Tattva within us. He is the light of the soul within us. That is Sri Ram. Who is Sita Ma? Sita Mata represents, my dear brothers and sisters, the peace within us. And Lakshman, in this Ram's Katha, Lakshman, my friends, represents awareness, Seva Bhav. Lakshman represents awareness or Seva Bhav, and Seva Bhav for that matter. Now, imagine a person without light. Imagine a person without peace. And imagine a person without awareness or without the attitude of service. What happens to such a person? Imagine somebody that you trust, somebody that you confided in, somebody that you love. That person took away your peace. Sitama. That person drove away your soul, sold your soul, sent your soul into the forest of wilderness. Ram. That person that you love. That person that you never expected to do that for you. And that person who takes away your awareness, your alertness, who robs you of your concentration, who robs you of your seva bhav. Sri Ram, Sita and Lakshman left Ayodhya. And friends, I want everyone to be very attentive. The day we refuse to practice Shama, controlling of the mind, Dhamma, controlling of the senses, Uparama, practice of our duties in life, Titiksha, to endure life situations, to remain calm in life situations, Titiksha. Sri Ram will leave the Ayodhya, our heart. We will then remain in darkness. Sita would leave, peace, happiness would leave us. And Lakshman, who represents also prema, love, will also leave. They will be exiled to the forest of wilderness. And the day, my friends, you and I, you can be the best Hindu in the whole world, meaning the Hindu that go to the temple all the time. You could be the best Christian living in the church. You could be the best Muslim inside the mosque. You could be the best Jehovah Witness or Baptist or Indian or African or Japanese or Portuguese or any. But if we don't have control of these senses, if we don't have control over this mind, if we don't practice titiksha and have compassion to endure, my friends, Sri Ram, Lakshman, and Sita would leave the Ayodhya of our heart. And when this happens, my dear friends, when this happens, Ayodhya will be in chaos. Bharat, Realizing this, he could hardly even look at his mother. He didn't want to, accept the fact that she was the cause of this. And Bharat is about to do something. And what he's about to do, we will see tomorrow night. Prem se bolo Jyapati Ramachandra ki. This brings us to the end. My time is now telling me to stop. And I want to thank each and every one of you for being here. And I want you all, my friends, to remember these very important points that we have made as we take our baby steps onto the spiritual path and uplift ourselves spiritually. And this small episode we have seen with Bharat in Ayodhya, let us keep it in mind. Remember, keep it in mind to improve ourselves, our daily lives. This is the main purpose. And with this tonight, I conclude.